So by seeing the topic itself, we all know that it's like going to be enjoyable one as usual. And with this short note, I will welcome Professor Muthu to enlighten us on this today's topic. Be blessed by the divine.
May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness, and peace. May the whole world enjoy prosperity, happiness, and peace. Be blessed by the divine. Good morning to every one of you and those who are who joined us in the online Zoom. Good morning to everyone. Divinity has given to us everything except one thing. Can you guess what it is? Divinity has given us everything except one thing. What would be that which it did not give to the humanity? Address of from the topic. Address of divinity. Okay. Very good guess. Anything else? Anything else? Divinity.
If you want to attain the peace, the inner peace, there is a mask
to reach the divinity. Good. Whatever divinity has given to us, we can make use of that to enjoy happiness in this materialistic world. But that happiness is a temporary phenomenon. Whatever you think I will be happy if I get it, it is going to be a temporary. Even if I want to have the costliest car, until I get it, I am happy, or the first 1 month I am happy, and after that I'm not enjoying the same happiness. So it is a temporary phenomenon. What the divinity has kept himself is the bliss. Unless I go there, we can't enjoy the bliss. So bliss is within him, whereas happiness is given to us. We can enjoy it. If we have to live with the bliss, we have to go to him. Magic is what it happens when we are connected to the divinity. There are many people, some turning point is there in their life, and total turning point, when they have a connection with the divinity, that triggers a big shift in their life. And after that, it's a totally different, progressive lifestyle. So magic, people can say it's a magic. I don't know, it's a miracle. But I was like this, but now I am like that, you know. So they call that as a miracle. Miracle, magic can happen when we are connected to the divinity. Now, in order to get connected to the divinity, we must know who is divine, where is divinity, where is his office. Are we connecting to the divinity being a Vedatriyan in a right way or not? If we are connected to the divinity, at least to a larger extent, whatever I think it should happen, and I should always go in a progressive, stable life, right? But many times people are struggling with issues, problems, challenges, not for hours, not for days, not for months. For 10 years, one lady has been struggling to make her husband stop or quit smoking, not happening. Another person is trying for 14 years to make his wife understand to do the exercise and meditation. No, it's not happening. What is happening here? So whatever effort he is putting it, he is not able to achieve it because divinity is telling, you know, the Airtel, when you make a call, what they say in English or Hindi, in Tamil I know, you are outside the boundary of something like that, right? Yeah. No, in English or Hindi, outside the networking area. Maybe divinity is telling, I am outside your network area, and we are not able to hear even that voice. So people have been trying the same method to convince his wife to do the exercise, but divinity is telling something and I am not able to even hear that he is outside my network, right? So if we have to make a proper connection to the divinity, I have to know where is his office, who is he, how can I make the connection? Then my life is going to be successful in whatever effort I am doing it. And that is a topic for today's discussion. So the offices, there are many times duplicate office, or there are so many offices. Which is the right office which is the right office, and who is the right person to talk to make the connection so that I progress in my life. So the topic for today is the genuine office of God or divinity. What are we going to discuss for the next 45 minutes? Who is God? We all know that, right? We all know that divinity is nothing but absolute space. Am I right? So the office of divinity should be absolute space. Correct? Correct? It's not so. The office of God is not the absolute space. Then where is his office? So that is why I need 40 minutes to reach that point. Otherwise, if everybody knows it, absolute space is the divinity and that is the office, what is the big deal in taking this topic for 1 hour, right? So definitely God's office is not the absolute space. Something we are missing here. So who is God? We know that, but whether Maharishi said that it is not his office or not, I don't want to share my understanding or my perceptions or my points, my views. No. What Maharishi said only I can share it. Personally, I can share what I understood, that's fine. Not in this platform. So whether Maharishi said absolute space is not the office of divinity or not, we will discuss it. And then how many offices divinity has, and what is a genuine office, and how can I make connection to that genuine office of divinity so that I enjoy the bliss in my life. So this is what we are going to cover for next 45 minutes. So let's, of course, office is 24/7, correct? 24/7. And no, back. Before we go to who is God, let's discuss what I am going to achieve if I know the office of God. What are the things I can achieve in my life if I know the office of God? Number one, I already said, if I want magic to happen in my life, miracles to happen in my life, I have to get connected to the divinity. So I should know the office of divinity. The second one, you said, blissful life. Blissful means whatever I am thinking, it is happening, and what is possible only I think it, I am blissful, right? So bliss is the second one. And anything else other than these two? Wisdom. Very good. Wisdom for what? Excellent. We may have lot of problems and challenges in our life. Unless we know the truth, unless we have the wisdom, we may be trying to open a lock with the wrong key. Lock will never get opened. That is why people are struggling with some issues for years and years. No, I have congratulated, not now, almost like 8 years before, one of my close friend or friendy. Okay, and I called her, and it was her 25th wedding anniversary. Means I just conveyed my wishes anniversary, and then she was talking to me few things, and then at the end she said, you know, if my brother did not lose money in his business, I might have got married to a good person, better person, not this gentleman. After 25 years of married life, she is conveying that to me. Then what kind of life she had for the 25 years? You know, with that in her mind, the magnetism could not be a positive atmartha, or, you know, it cannot be from the heart or soul. So we people have been struggling it for a long time, and the struggle or problems or challenges created by the divine, and divinity has a solution also. Where lock is manufactured, key is available there. We need to go to the creator who created the problem, then only we can find. Einstein also said, you can't solve any problem with the consciousness which created the problem. I got some problem because of my intellect. If I use the same intellect, definitely I can never fix that problem. So I have to either get the help from someone who is elevated or higher than my consciousness, or I have to empower myself to raise my consciousness, then only I can fix the problem. So enlightenment of consciousness is nothing but making a connection to the divinity. So wisdom to fix my challenges, to solve my problems. That is the third one. What else we can achieve if I know how to make connection to the genuine office of divinity? Anything else? What is that? Perspicacity. Yeah, very nice. Perspicacity is to see beyond my sensual perceptions, the truth in it. If I can see the truth in everything, I will never do any mistakes. So, Maharishi has written in the first book, Human Excellence book in English, volume 1, first chapter, first page. Every human being wanted to live happily. When they suffer because of the past mistake, they again do mistakes, and again they go through pain and pleasure. Hardly few people went beyond pleasure and pain, which is peace and bliss. People never crossed pleasure and pain. Either they are in a painful situation or a happy situation, not a peaceful, and then higher one is a bliss. So why? Because we are tempted to do mistakes because of animal imprints we have within us, and not 1 year, 2 year, 800 million years of animal imprints we have it. At some point of time, I will behave like a dog, I will behave like a snake, I will behave like a Scorpio. All that is inside. How much degree? It varies, right? So we tempted to do mistakes. So in order to avoid mistakes, in order to be in awareness state, so that I don't do mistake now, I don't create another sin now, for that also, I have to have connection with the divinity. So minimum these 4 things we get if I know the genuine office of divinity, and if I know how to make the connection to the divinity. So the purpose is this. Right. Now let's go to the next one. Maharishi has written among those 4 points. I have quoted a lot of poems. I really, when you read his poems since last 10 years, or particularly since last 5 years after Corona, when the Zoom started. Before that, I never, hardly I might have applied the poems in my speeches. But in Corona, of course, you can have a paper in front of you and, use the poem. So I started reading poems in a much deeper way. And the raw information is available in poem. The rest are all translation, right? Even that Valkai Malargal, Blossom of, that book or anything. It's a translation of that raw information which is in the poem. So you can even understand in a much deeper way what Maharishi really had in his mind. Because sometimes I ask a question, why Maharishi used this word? Why can't use this word? So then what is the difference between what I think the word is better, but what he put that word, there is a difference. And that difference is a much deeper level of information which we can understand it and which we can use it, right? So most of the topics from my side is because of those simple words which it catch my attention, why Maharishi used that. And today's topic is also out of that one single word which, got captured, and then I arrived to this topic. I will tell you what is that word as well. It is there in the PowerPoint. So anyway, this poem, this is just a 2-line statement. It is a very loose translation. I just sit for half an hour or 45 minutes to convert into English. So forgive me for any error in the translation, but the meaning I ensured most 90% the meaning is not changed. Okay. So here it says, seeking the divinity and empowering with clear knowledge is the purpose of divinely human and its use. So the purpose of birth is to realize the divinity. So everybody wanted to seek the divinity. Where is the divinity? How can I become one with the divinity? So everybody is seeking for divinity and the knowledge to attain that oneness, right? So that is the purpose of birth. So we have to know the genuine office of God and make the connection. This is one of the poem in which he says that the purpose of birth is to make Connect, not only connection, to become one with the God. Next, yes. Now, who is God? Next. So here there are two poems which we already know it. Absolute space is the divinity, right? There are many poems which states that divine state is the absolute space. But sometimes some words, Maharishi used divine state. And our title is Genuine Office of God. We didn't use the word divinity. What's the difference between divinity and God? For our easy understanding, as if it is like a human being, someone is there. So we call that as a God, goddess, and things like that, so that we can easily understand. Otherwise, it's very difficult for us to imagine how can some state can execute everything. Only I can think, not everything else, right? So Maharishi himself used somewhere God, somewhere state, somewhere divinity, and things like that. Anyway, divine state is absolute space. And the second line says, it is a static state which has no boundaries. The absolute space is a static state and it has no boundaries. That is the meaning of the first two. And the third and fourth line, which says that divine state become everything. Universe, all living organisms, it got transformed. That's what the poem says. And the next line, the title is a divine state. Divine state is absolute space. Static, next slide. Second poem. Yeah. So here he talks about wisdom. Right? In that wisdom poem, he says, who is divine? Who is God? Yeah, next. Divine state again is the absolute space. Next. And that is a static state. And the last line says, invisible static state got transformed into everything, into the universe. So again, the meaning is same. So in all these poems, Maharishi says, God is absolute space, but that got transformed into Akash and the Panchabhutas and then the universe and then all living organisms, right? Okay. Now, next. Now he says, I said it is not the office, right? Did Maharishi says that absolute space is not the office of God anywhere? When I got this topic in my mind, first thing, I started going through Jnana Kalanjam, around 2000 poems he wrote. Is there any place where Maharishi has said it is not the office? I can't just share my understanding, right? I have to find out. Nowhere he said that absolute space is not the office of God. But he said in your poem, it is the home of God. That's enough for me, right? We go to home to sleep. If I have to meet Mr. Suresh, I have to go to his office to do the business. At home, I do my personal stuff. God also has some personal stuff to do it, which he will do it in the home, but not the official thing, which how he is executing the entire universe, how he is giving pain and pleasure to somebody. That is his office to do. So absolute space is the home of God, where he does his personal stuff, not for others. He has his own agenda, like we do sleep, we do take bath, we do our personal stuff at home. Similarly, in this poem, Maharishi says, the translation is, title itself is home. The title of the poem is home. Home means place. It has to be a place. Search after search. Home without home is the absolute space. We look for a home, but there is no home. But that is a home for God, right? We have some definition of a home. So it is not like that. But that is a home for God, which is absolute space. The force of the absolute space, home, caused energy particles to events due to force. What he says here, of course, that is a poem. That is the home, but that home has some energy, force, and that caused the entire Akash particles and Panchabhutas and all the universe and everything caused from that absolute space, which same as we all know that the transformation theory of Vedatri Maharishi, how the absolute space got transformed into everything, right? So here he clearly says it is the home. Absolute space is the home, right? That is why it is called as Sunyam. Static state, dark, complete darkness, not even a light there, no activity there. Static state means no action at all. That is the place where sleeping is taking place. There is no action in it, right? Okay, so now then there is the office. What is the office of God? Now, he has clearly specified here, it is the home. Though he did not say anywhere, this is not the office, but it is a home. So where could be the office? We have to understand. So far, whatever we learned, can you guess where is the office? Or what is the office of God? Networking skills. Yeah. Yeah, okay, very good. Actually, in fact, God also follows the same thing. It is not absolute space. Okay, there is a, our ancestors are really great people. Even if it is a complicated polynomial, trigonometric, or algebraic equation, how to solve it, they put it in a very nice way. Whatever happens around them, they have given in a form of story or some conversation between a sage and a student, a disciple. So here is a story. And this concept is being said in every religious scriptures. So it is not from one. Similarly, exact same conversation is there in all the religious scriptures. So all those people, they know what it is. Where is the genuine office of God? So a person called Ananta, that name is Ananta, he asked Lord Buddha, have you taught us everything what you have learned to us? Whatever you have learned so far, have you taught to us? So the disciples were asking Buddha. And he was always sitting in a tree. So from the tree, he took one leaf and then he started making into pieces of those one leaf. One leaf, so he cut it out and put pieces of that single leaf, right? So when they asked the question, he was doing like this. So then, have you taught to us all the stuff you have learned? Then he said, whatever I taught you is the size of one small piece of that big leaf. And what you have to learn is not only those pieces of this single leaf, how many leaves are there in this tree, and not only in this tree, in this entire forest, how many trees are there and how many leaves are there? That is a size of unlearned things which you have to learn. Of course, how many births are required to learn all that? It is impossible to learn all that. And it is not required also. That is what the second point he is telling. But doesn't matter. If you can understand one piece of this leaf, the entire forest you understood. There is no need to learn anything else. That is what he answered. What he is trying to tell. And the story ends here. Maybe the person who created the story or those scholars might have been explaining to the disciple, you know what is his meaning? Do you understand one piece of this single leaf? Something like that, right? So we also have to, when I read this story, I stopped that for a moment. What is he trying to convey us? Super, excellent, very nice. Anything else? Very nice. Anything? Any other learning from that? Okay. If you will get 100% understanding of this at the end of the lecture. If not, remind me. I'm sure you will. Okay. So now we have to now go. Keep this as a little bit pending. We will go through one by one. What could be the office of divinity and where is a genuine office? And then we will come back to the same story to understand what is that message that Buddha was trying to tell us. Where is a genuine office and how to make the connection? These are the two objectives we have for today's class. Where is a genuine office of divinity? How can I make the connection? Right? Okay. And both answers are there in this simple story. Okay. Now, here, okay, there is another poem. Here he says, where is the office? This poem clearly tells this is the office of divinity, right? Forget about the Tamil. I am going to read the, sorry, I translated. Heard there exists God. So many people are telling God is there, God is there, God is there. I heard from many people. And I am longing to see the God. Where is the God? I want to see the God. So one person is telling to this Maharishi, I know many people have been telling there is God. And I have been looking for God for so many years. I tried many days, many years, I could not find. Help me to find God. This is what somebody told Maharishi. And Maharishi said, my friend, there is an undivided energy for functioning and controlling of all the things you see. Examine it, and that is you too. That's it. This poem ends there. That is the entire translation of that 8 lines. Now, I look for God. So, what Maharishi says, my friend, you see lot of objects around you, and all those objects are functioning because of one energy, and it is also being controlled because of that energy. For example, in within ourselves, the heart is functioning 24 hours, whether I like it or not, whether I know it or not, it is functioning all the 24 hours. There is an energy which is doing that function. And plus, there is an energy, I eat 5 times chapati, it is being digested. Some energy is controlling the organs, controlling every cell in the body. So the energy which is the cause for functioning, and also the energy which is controlling the entire activity, that single energy is called God. And you are also saved. Not only it is the reason for functioning and controlling of all the objects around you, that object could be inorganic or organic, inanimate or living organism, whatever it is, that energy is the main reason. And that is, if you can understand that energy, and the title for this poem he has given, next, I found peace and bliss. Divinity has given everything to us except bliss. Unless I reach divinity, I can't enjoy bliss. So he found the peace and bliss. Normally we have always pleasure and pain. You see a good breakfast, happy. And I see an yesterday's food as a breakfast. What is this? Yesterday's food and now also the same food. I feel pain, either pleasure or pain. These are the two feelings we always have. We have to go above that. And where he found in knowing the energy which is the cause for functioning of everything in this entire universe, and also controlling is done by that energy. That energy is the office of divinity, because divinity is controlling, divinity is doing all the work. That energy is the office of God, which we can infer from this particular poem. But where explicitly he said here like that? No, he said that it is functioning. But there are many other poems which is confirming this particular understanding. Let's go to the next poem. So here he titled as a God. There is no, there he found peace and bliss. Now the title of the poem is God. And what is the poem says? Millions and millions of objects or appearances, there penetrating inside and outside of every object, filled with energy, called life force, nature, and God. Now for God, he is giving a totally different definition. God is the energy which is inside every object, penetrating and filled totally. Anything you take, either living or non-living, totally it is inside, totally filled up with that energy, and that energy is called life force within any living organism, and that is also called nature, and that is also God. Now God is in two places. One in absolute space, which is a home, where he does his personal stuff. He has anything personal stuff to do it, like we take a bath in our home, we do something at home, right? Whether God has anything to do at home? Of course, that is the office. Any work you do in the office, except his personal stuff. Like what we do at home. Do you think God has some personal stuff to do it at home? Huh? Creations he is doing at home or doing at office? Of course, no action done in home, right? But like us, he has some personal stuff to do it. Self-compressive force. It is an inherent quality of divinity, absolute space. It compresses its own and then release it. Compress on its own and release it. Because of its own action, only God particle is created outside. That become office of the God. Right? So it does something on its own in absolute space. Though it is shunya, it is having some force. That force is this. Right? It's called, what is in English called? Yeah, kinematic quivering action. That is a function, that is a quality of absolute space. Okay, so it is his home, it does that. Then duplicate is there, not duplicate. God particle, Akash particle, Panchabhutas, universe, living, all from first sense to the sixth sense where office is being taken place. Absolute space is home, energy is the office of the God. So here he says very clearly, life force is also God, nature is also God, and that is nothing but the energy which is penetrating every object and filled with that object. That is called God. So there are two definitions, there are two names, two entities. So I named it as an office, that one is a home because God is there, right? Okay, next one. So now the God's home is absolute space. We know that. Next. And the office of God is, what is that? Energy. Now we have to see energy is there everywhere. Then how many offices are there? Can we count? It's tough, right? Okay, next one. Let's. Now here is another poem, and the title itself is Philosophy of Magnetism or Principle of Magnetism. The title is. So here he says, okay, let's see the translation. The capital for our life. What is a capital? We start a business with some capital, 1 crore or 1 lakh or 10 lakh, 10,000, then he multiplies it. What is a capital for my life? With that only either I can prosper or I can go downwards. I can suffer. Either prosperity means I improve myself, right? Finally achieve the purpose, or I go down, but the capital is given to us. And what is a capital? Imprints. See, Abdul Kalam has said one statement. Everybody is born with a different state. Somebody is born in a poor, somebody is born in a rich family, somebody is born with a diabetes, somebody is born with a handicap. So anyone can born with something as a problem, but God has given to you everything the same size of brain. Brain is same size for all, right? Now, what he says, those who use that which is given to us all equally can prosper or can go, negatively also. Similarly, imprints is there with everyone. Everyone has some set of imprints, but more powerful than fate. That imprint is a fate. The choice given to only sixth sense human being is the wisdom, our consciousness. Only we are capable to know what it is, how I can change it, not dog or cat. So that is there. But here he says the capital of our life is, you will see in the translation. The capital for life is our magnetic energy. The magnetic, not our magnetic energy only. How I use it, how I access it, how I improve it, how I waste it. That decides my quality of life. That is the essence of this particular poem. So capital for life is magnetic energy only. Let us know the ways of increasing it and apply that ways to increase the magnetism so that I live with prosperity. Almost I spent for 10 minutes to translate this. Here he says in a single 2 word that you understand how to increase it and then you apply it to increase the biomagnetism. Only 2 words in Tamil. Unfortunately, here, first let us know the ways of improving the biomagnetism and then let us apply those ways so that I increase my magnetism and I live with the prosperity. Prosperity, he didn't use bliss here. I try to ask a question. Why we used prosperity here? Not bliss. We have to live in this world with the prosperity. I need good, right? Name, fame, material, money, pleasure. All those things are required. For that, he says, life is magnetism. Of course, that is a capital for bliss also. So with magnetism, if I know the way to increase it, to multiply it, to how to handle it, then apply it, I can always prosper, right? That is what this poem says. Yeah, next one. So now we see here, the office of God is magnetism, but it is in all places, everywhere, right? So then where is the genuine office of God? If God is there everywhere, of course we are told God is there in dust and as well as in pillar. Yes, magnetism is there everywhere. True. But where is his office? That we need to know. Next. Now, let us imagine, let us think for a minute. Exactly, Earth is revolving around Sun at 9 crore miles from Sun. Where is a God's office making sure Earth doesn't go out of the orbit even by 0.1% error? No, exactly it is following the orbit. From every 24 hours, one orbit, 365 days, one revolving around the Sun, and exactly 9 crore miles distance from Sun. Where is the God's office which ensures Earth is revolving around Sun exactly the same orbit? Someone is making it, right? Next. Next. So the boy had put lot of effort, studied for 14 hours, and he got 100 out of 100 in all the model exam, internal test, everything 100 out of 100, but +2 final result is 70% marks. Where is God sitting and making sure this fellow gets only 70% mark, irrespective of all the excellent score which he had done for the 2 years? God is sitting somewhere. Where is a God's office? God's office is magnetism. Now I want to narrow down that understanding. Exactly where is that office which is making sure Earth is following that distance? This boy had only scored 70% marks, and somebody broke a 50,000 rupees phone. Same day before he went into the home, broke. So he met with an accident. Or where is the God's office? Which magnetic energy is responsible to make sure that accident happens there? Next one. Of course, Corona, as per 10th August 2023, 79 people, 69 lakhs died. Where is God's office? Ensured that who has to die, when to die, and how to die, and 69 totally died at the end. Where is God's office in executing all that? Though it is a magnetic energy, though it is there everywhere, we have to know where it is. Possible to find? Possible to find? So through networking, you can easily find out. Is it? Very good. Huh? Oh, in our official situation. Yes, true. Good. Let's see whether it is correct or wrong in our case, right? Good.
Understanding that it is
yeah. You know, I think I might have told you on true incident. One of the member to a place in Chennai, near Chennai, and he wanted to get her daughter married. So the first invitation he wanted to give it to Maharishi. You know all the story. You know the story, right? No. So he approached the master there. Please take me to Swamiji, and I want to give my first invitation of my daughter's wedding to Maharishi. So he went with his professor, and you all know that. I told you know. Okay. So anyway, just I'll to cut short. So he went there, and he was in the first floor. So the professor went with him, and the professor told to Maharishi that he is our member, our Sky Center member, and he's fixed the marriage for his daughter, and he wanted to give the first invitation to you, Swamiji. So that is why I brought him. And Maharishi has this chair, you know, you can sit like that, right? Full easy chair, yeah. So normally he sits in the chair, and yeah, like this only. When I went and all, sometimes he gets up like that. Otherwise, it's not a 30-40%, almost like 70%, slightly bent. So and he told that person, keep the invitation on the table. Normally, when somebody came there to give the invitation, we get it in hand, right? So he said, keep the invitation there. That itself is a shock to both of them. Why Maharishi? He wanted to give the first invitation to Maharishi, so we have to give to him, but he said, keep it there. The first shock. And then he was explaining, my daughter is a doctor working here, and the fiancé, yeah, that he is also a doctor, and all that. He explained for 2 minutes. Then Maharishi said, your daughter is already married. I suggest you get it married with that boy, with your permission. Only this he told in a very short word, not like this as well. That father was so, become mad and angry at him, and he left the place without asking anything. And then he was scolding the professor. I thought he is a great sage. How can he say that my daughter is married? My daughter will not cross if I put a line. No, she will be inside until I say cross. Such an obedient girl I know. How can this happen? He is a mad. Like that, all that from Aliyar to his hometown around 10 hours. So this fellow was peaceless and he was scolding Maharishi and the professor. I should not have come here to give all that. Then this professor told, no, it cannot be false. Why can't you talk to your daughter? He said, no, I know my daughter. I already printed the invitation. She only edited the invitation. Why I should ask her? Am I mad? Okay, until they reached the home, finally the father thought, okay, you talk to my daughter if you still have a doubt. Okay, so he talked to the called the doctor. And she said, yes, I have done a registered marriage. With whom? A driver who is not even a 10th standard. She is an MBBS. That driver used to take her from home to hospital or college and things like that. They fell in love and they got married. They did a registered marriage. Then this professor, then why you didn't tell your father? Why you didn't stop the marriage? And how can this happen and all that, Now the father was so upset. My God. Then he totally, his respect towards Maharishi is totally changed. Then finally they discussed, and then as Maharishi said, finally he got married with that driver officially. But Maharishi said another word to that parent, that you get your daughter officially married with the same person and he is going to take care of you in future. That is what Maharishi said. They had 3 kids, 1 daughter and 2 sons. When this professor came here, almost this incident happened 12 years before. Now the 2 sons left the parent. There were no connection to the sons to the parent, whereas this driver is taking care of father-in-law, mother-in-law as a son, because the sons left the home, both. So imagine who is in this God's office, who knows God's office, not only controlling. Maharishi is able to know what happened already, which father doesn't know, what will happen after 10 years, but it is a plan of God, and Maharishi is able to tell. And they simply followed what he said at the end. So that parent is so happy with the son-in-law, though he is, he can't write and he can't read anything. So that person is taking care of father-in-law like a son. So every one of us can reach that stage. If not that stage, at least a blissful life. We don't want to be a good to somebody else, at least to myself, to my family, to my friend, to my network. So such is the beauty and power of this network, the divine, right? Okay, let's go to, so we have to have answer for all that. Where is God's office? Now, in order to understand in order to find answer for all these questions, we have to know how God's office is functioning. How God is executing. Somebody have to met with an accident on the day of tsunami. Every day someone used to go for walking. On that day he didn't go, he escaped. And one person never went to Cornish for walking. He went to Cornish, he died on the day of tsunami. Like that, there are so many cases. So how God is functioning from his office in executing all that. Should we know it? Then only we will know where I should make the connection to for my life. How to make that connection. Am I right? Correct? So how God is executing. We have discussed, right? How God is executing. We all know that. You all went out of the room. When I went, fell down there, broke the nose, blood came out. Actually, this example keep coming me, and one of my senior friend in our Sky Center, almost he reminded me or told me 4 or 5, sir, don't give this example. I don't want you to fall down somewhere while crossing the door and see the blood there. Please change the example, but I still keep getting the same example. I don't know why. I need to now consciously remember this. Okay, so how I only broke my nose. How God is executed this. We all are there in the room. We all went out of the room. Only why it should happen only to my nose. The same steps there at the exit. So how God is executing? Two offices, two categories of offices. It is in another poem. Let's see that poem. How God is executing everything, right? Mercy has given everything to us. Really amazing. Okay. And also, yes, we all know truth. When I read this poem, he says great truth. Truth is itself is wisdom, jnanam. Jnana means to know the truth. If I know what is the truth, ultimate. That's what I thought. Ultimate is to know the truth. Now there is a great truth, such more powerful than the truth. And he mentioned that this is the great truth. What is great truth? If you understand how God is executing everything, that is the greatest truth to know. And that is what I explained in this book. So the great truth is what? Okay, let's see the translation. Yeah. Yes. With gravity at center on revolving worlds, revolving object, every object, the office is at the center. For every inanimate object, the office is at the center. With biomagnetic genetic center on living beings, on any living things, the office is at the genetic center. For all of us, genetic center is office. According to your office, God is allowing to go very safely. According to my genetic center, divinity is making me to not to see something, hit there, slipped, fell down, broke. So this office is creating a situation so that my eyes doesn't see it properly, or my thought process goes somewhere, I hit there, fell down, broke. So the office is in the genetic center for living things. For non-living things, it is a center of that object. And the third line, in materialistic world, according to all actions of men and women, with suitable results as pain and pleasure, universe functions with such divine dance. What he says, it is a dance of the divinity. You all went out, I only fell down. Somebody met with an accident. And there was a car accident, but out of 10, only one escaped, all the 9 died on the spot. That one didn't get hurt anywhere. That is a dance of divinity. How he is giving pain and pleasure according to everyone's action. Pain and pleasure is decided when that action is performed. That is a play of divinity. That is what the poem says. And variety of living beings who eat, who move, who sleep, who die. There are many living beings which is, they do that, right? Get up, eat, live, sleep, and all that. But great truth is in understanding this divine play and realizing it in our mind is also called wisdom. Realize the divine play in mind. Understand it is a divine play of God, how he is executing it. That is the biggest truth. That is the great truth according to this. How God is executing. We call that as adrishtam. You know, adrishtam, luck. There is no luck according to Mahari's dictionary. Adrishtam means, drishti means see. If I can't know what is the reason why he got $1 million as a lottery winner, I don't know the reason, so I call that as a luck. There is no such luck. The office is there. The office, according to, like, if I have a lemon seed, if I put it in the soil, the lemon tree has the complete information. And not only complete information, it executes as per one order. When it has to grow as a plant, then when it has to grow, when it has to produce one lemon, first lemon, and then many lemon, and what taste it is, how good it is for how many years, and then when it should die. So according to time, it manifests in a small seed. Similarly, we all have genetic center, and the God is executing according to time with as a pleasure or pain. And that is how we should understand the functioning of God, and that is a great truth in it. Is it clear, this poem? Any doubt? Okay, next one. Now we know God's office, how it is functioning, the center of every object. And for us, that center is called genetic center, right? Okay, next. So here is another poem. My God, this is, is another, the title, it says that divine play based on cause and effect. How God is not dancing as per his wish. Not at all. God is not a hero to give even 1 petal extra like what we see hero in a movie. Or he is not a villain to take 1 petal from me as well. What I deserve, I get. God is only executing according to cause, here is effect. And that is called a divine play. So divine play according to cause and effect is the title of this poem. And you know boomerang? Boomerang, right? In English. Yeah. So if I put it, what it does, it goes to other person. Is it? Oh, is it? Comes back to the source. Okay. Very good. Very good. So here what he says, it's a game, he says. So there is nothing to attack someone. It's a game, he says. Well, he says that in a game, what you do it comes back to you. Similarly, or even if you target someone, somebody I am jealous about somebody and I want to something happened to him in a negative way. So I send a strong thought way. It goes there, but the first thing Maharishi says, it comes back to me first. Then only it can go there or it may not go there. As you said, it hits there or doesn't hit there. In both cases, it will come to me. If it hits also, it will come to me. Doesn't hit also, it will come to me. Whether it hits or not, it depends on his power. If it is Maharishi, nothing can happen. But if he is weaker than me, I will hit him as well. But it will come to me as well, right? So the translation of this poem is, we get back what is being sent as in boomerang. Thoughts, words, and deeds, how it is happening, whatever I think, whatever I speak, whatever I do, it is a magnetic wave. This magnetic wave goes to the universe, and the entire universe is surrounded by a surrounding pressure force of absolute space. So it comes back. While coming back, it brings similar imprinted experiences of other persons who are living or non-living. All those experiences are there. So it gets attracted and brings back and keep it as a stock in my genetic center. When it is stored in my genetic center, according to time, it gets manifest. So already that storage is there. I have to break my nose. It is there. Now this is the time where the step is a little bit, so, okay, this is the best place for this fellow to make this accident happen. Because he will be, while going, he will be excited to leave the room out of sky class. So, best time. The rest of the time, he is not excited. Yes, he will be careful. No, this is not the place. This is the time where someone can break the nose and the accident happens there. So, he says, like a boomerang, only whatever we did, it goes to the universe, comes back with a similar imprinted experiences and gets stored in my genetic center. And then like a seed to the tree gets manifested. This is how the divine play has been happening. This is how God is executing everything, right? Okay, next. Now let's go back to the same poem where he found peace and bliss. You remember? Who is God? The energy which is the cause for functioning and controlling, right? That a translation of poem. Now, when I read this poem, I decided the topic as the office of God. And I called Anand also, this is the topic, office of God. And the flyer was also ready. The office of God. Next day, I read the same poem. When I read the same poem next day, one word caught into my attention. Why he used this word? Then I called Anand, the topic is changed, genuine office of God. Then the flyer is also changed. So what made to do genuine office of God? And what is the difference between the two? Let's see what is the word in English. Yeah, next. Next. See the word undivided. He says the energy which is responsible for functioning and controlling of everything is called God. That is the office. The energy which is responsible for functioning and controlling, that is the God. But that energy, he used an adjective. Sorry, not adjective, pronoun. Undivided energy. Why he used that word, undivided energy? What he wants to tell here, undivided energy? Actually, we just now understood God is there everywhere. So how many offices are there? Millions and millions of offices are there. Here is also there is an office. Inside me also there is an office. Inside chair also there is an office. Inside earth also there is an office. Inside ant also there is an office. Millions and millions of offices are there. But he used the word undivided energy. What do you understand from this word? Undivided energy. If you understand it, we know the genuine office is what? What is this undivided office? Sorry, undivided energy. Why he used the word undivided? And
these are all energies
localized.
The source of the energy, power, solar cells operate. Solar cells are operating with energy from sun. Similarly, the source of the energy, which is represented or functioning as energy in different centers, that source itself can be called as undivided energy.
Okay, what is that source? You have a great understanding. What is that source?
That source is
absolute space.
Absolute space.
Then it is not office, no? Then it is not office, right? We concluded absolute space is a home. No question of any office there.
No, we are not talking about the location of the office. The source is the undivided energy.
Okay.
That energy is being originating from absolute space.
That is correct.
Absolute space is the one which created the energy Akash particles.
True.
That Akash particles is the sub-function, basic source of functioning in all the element.
Absolutely, absolutely. Origin is from that. Absolutely, no doubt in that. Origin is from that. Once it came from there, now the functioning is here. Okay, now let's see how to understand that. So I thought, why he used the word undivided? Okay, then means normally I read 2-3 poems. Morning I get around 15 minutes. Nowadays it is also being stopped now. Now I have to find another time to read this poem. Until I think in my previous home, that was a routine. Every day morning I drink around 1 liter or 1.5 liter of water. So it takes 15 minutes to that. So when I drink it slowly, that Jnana Kalanjam is there in the hall. So I read the poem and then drink it and think about it and things like that. But since last 2 years, I am in a different house. So now that become the myself and what is that? Oh, yeah, okay. Super. Yeah, great. Yeah, okay, fine. Let's go to the topic. Now, why it is undivided? I think you will easily understand the next picture. Yeah, next. Now is a bowl of water. Inside the water, some 200 grams of green gram is there. Now water which is outside the area of green gram is absolute space, like a white in egg, white yolk. What is that? Yeah, in egg. Whereas the yellow one is the universal field, which is the area occupied by the green gram. Now the water is inside every gram and between any 2 grams and outside the grams also. Water is there everywhere. So the green gram is inside water and water is inside green gram. The first understanding. The second understanding is the absolute space, which is the home for divine, is outside that green gram area, which is also called universe or functioning. There is an activity there. There is an energy which is working, not as a potential energy, dynamic energy, where the area occupied by the green gram. Now that dynamic energy, that you can call that as a universal magnetic field or universal magnetic energy. That energy is not only outside the green gram, inside the green gram, but it is not independent. Everything is interconnected as one network. My GC, your GC, everyone GC is all interconnected. And not only interconnected the GC of living organism, the center of Earth, center of this building, center of our solar system, the center of so many millions of galaxies, everything is inside this universal magnetic field. So everything is connected. If I pass a current from a wire to one corner of a swimming pool, even if swimming pool is 10 kilometers, everybody will get shock. Simple. Similarly, that is why our ancestors had said, you can't pluck a flower from a tree plant without disturbing the distant star. The star is millions and millions miles away, but it will disturb even if you pluck a flower from a small tree. Why? The universal magnetic field is same, connected. Of course, on the local area, some other changes happened as well. But the center of that genetic center is the absolute space and connected, and universal magnetic field is also connected to everything. So, what God has given, as you said, absolute space is a home, and he kept the office in home only, not separate office. Office is inside the home. So, the center of the absolute space is the universal field, universal magnetic field, and in which individually everyone is operating according to the need and according to their evolution concept. Okay, so that is what that undivided energy is, nothing but the universal magnetic energy is connected to every one of us. And that creates me to make an accident, that creates me for his boy to write example, but the teacher who evaluate, no, cut the mark by off. I don't like the handwriting. He has written the correct answers, but he doesn't like the handwriting. Every 10 mark, 5 mark, finished, 70 at the end. That universal is making the connection there and doing the things according to cause and effect. Yeah, next. So the genuine office is nothing but universal magnetic energy. Next. Yes, next. And we don't need to just believe from that poem. There are many other poems which says that universal magnetic field is the one. And in this poem, what he says in the translation, and the title is Greatness of Universal Magnetic Field. Here we have to understand the greatness. Universal magnetic field, those who lives and who left the world, their experiences summarizes all the effects of functions of physical body, the soul and mind, stores within itself and get it manifested at appropriate living being. Being understood the greatness of this, I am contented in my virtuous service. What he says that whoever lived already, whoever has died, whoever is currently living, and whatever experiences they had, all are stored in the universal magnetic field. You know, Maharishi used to give one example. There was some argument between husband and wife. So this fellow was shouting his wife and getting ready for office. So he went to the old scooter. You have to kick like this, right? Still there, right? That scooter? No. Yeah. Not bike, but the scooter. That was my first vehicle when I in Delhi. Okay. So he went there and kicked to start the scooter. And after a couple of kicks, it didn't start. And then he went back inside the home and started shouting his wife with new points. Why? How he got the new point now? Already he shouted. And 10 minutes gap is over. But while kicking, the universal field supplies it. Hey, you can shout her now like this also. How he got that? Somebody shouted like that. And all that is in the universal field. Now he is connected to the universal field is the one which is executing everything. Now he got some new idea. Hey, see, 4.5 years back, you did the same thing. Now this is not first time, third time. That fellow didn't remember that earlier. Now universal magnetic field supplied it and shouted now with the new things. Now all that is happening, universal field stores everything. Not only myself, everyone. That is what this poem says. And according to the cause and effect, it supplies to the concerned person at appropriate time to do that, to get it manifested. And that is because of universal magnetic field. You know, in science, there was some research paper published just 3 years back, 2019. And there are a lot of scientists who has been working on all these cellular theory, quantum theory, and all that. So everybody knows the information of every cell is at the center inside the nucleus, and they call that as a DNA, RNA. So the cell, what the cell is supposed to do, that information is stored in the form of DNA, RNA inside the nucleus. Without that, the cell cannot do anything. That was understanding until 2019. So in 2019, this scientist, what he did, there are a lot of analyses. So this is from a rat. So what this guy did, he removed the entire nucleus from the cell and kept it in a different place to make sure that it is live, but it is not inside the rat. Now, his expectation is the cell should not function, the rat should die, because the nucleus is taken out, and the nucleus is the center. Even according to Maharishi's concept, that is the center has the controlling function. The center is the office of divine in all inanimate and animate also. Now the center is taken. Unfortunately, to his surprise, he did not die. The rat didn't die without nucleus. Totally a different physics. He was shocked. But he couldn't conclude anything. He thought, let's see what happens. Continued. 1 month, 2 months, 1 year. Sorry, not year. After 3 months, he died. After 3 months, the cell died. Rat died. So he verified it with a couple of other experiments. Finally, he concluded. We all believe the information is at the center. But even if the entire nucleus is taken out, this gets supply from universal field. From the universe, someone is supplying. We don't know what it is, why it is, how it is. Sorry, we don't know. But it is getting information from universe. This is what his finding is 2019. That is what this poem says. Universal magnetic field has the information of everything. But why it died in 3 months? We have to really understand why. We don't know. Obviously, we can guess something, but unless the science proves it, we can't. Okay, so that is what here it's, yeah, next. 10:35. Okay, now come back to the poem. Sorry, that slide, the previous one. Now can we guess what Buddha said? Even if you can understand one portion of that piece of leaf, you will understand the entire forest. What he meant. That is a conclusion of today's lecture. Another 2 slides or 3 slides. Yeah.
Undivided
Energy. Yeah. So what is that? Undivided energy. Excellent. Right.
See, is the energy behind
Excellent.
so you understand which energy is functioning in this.
Right.
Same energy is functioning in the entire universe. You can understand it.
Perfect. What he wanted to convey is that is the God's office. In that one piece, God's office is there. In that one piece of leaf, God's office is there also. If you understand God's office is in that one simple piece of a leaf, then what we have to understand, God's office is there in every living organisms, in every inanimate object. Then God's office is there even in a leaf or in a dog or in my wife. What should I do with it then? We don't even wear chappal inside a temple. And we don't smell the flower what they give as a prasad. Or we don't find fault in what prasad they give is a puliyodare or whatever it is. We have a great respect to the place where we worship, where God resides. But we are seeing God is really working. Where? In a small piece of leaf, or a dog, or my wife, or my son, or a maid at my home. Are we treating them as a gods? That is what everyone should realize it. That is the purpose of that particular story Buddha wanted to share it. If we know the office of God in every living organism, and the genuine office is the magnetic field which is connecting everything, and whatever we do, it is recorded there, and it is going to give back to me, then the worshipping of God is nothing but at least not giving pain to any living organism if I can't help for that. That is the essence of every religion. That is the essence of this in knowing God's office. He wrote this in many poems like that. Yeah, next. Quickly, you can go through this poem. See, these are two, what is that? Enemies for generations. There is no enemy here. Everyone is a God's office. Everyone, within everyone, God's office is there. I have to respect the God, right? Yeah, next. So this is the poem. He says, Karma Yoga is nothing but help or at least don't give pain. Simple. Help if possible. You do the job of God or at least don't trouble it, right? Next one. So next one. Now he clearly says that is called love. That is called love. Love is nothing but removing the pain of others. If I can do it, I take the job of God, then I become equal to God. What God does, if I do the same job, I am God as well. So we have to have, not we have to have. It is not that I love. Love should be part of me. Right? So that is what the poem says. And in this poem, he says, it is not only called love, it is also called as duty, it is also called as virtue. Love, duty, virtue, all three are same. If you don't give pain, or at least you, help, or at least don't give pain. Okay, yeah, next. Now, you know that if I follow this, I think I have maybe might have shared one experience of Maharishi when he was in Chennai at midnight, and he and his friend were sleeping there, and one thief went up through the drainage pipe to the first floor where he is sleeping, and he jumped inside the room, and they two were sleeping, and they had only valuable item is only one clock, which is on the table where they are sleeping next. So this thief found nothing there. So he took the clock, the small table clock. And so he took the clock, and the gentleman who was sleeping next to Maharishi found that somebody is inside and somebody is taking the clock as well. Right? So he went to the window to again come down. So he doesn't have courage to catch him or shout him or anything. So he simply woke up Maharishi. And you know what Maharishi also noticed something is happening there. So what Maharishi did, he just closed his mouth. Don't open your mouth. Like that, he closed. And he told him, there is a thief. No, he closed the mouth tightly so that he couldn't tell anything. And that fellow jumped there, and then coming down, he can see that hear the noise of coming down. Once he landed there, then he removed the hand. Swamiji, why you closed my mouth? There was a thief who took. That is why I don't want you to make noise there. When you make a noise, if that fellow fell down, he will die. Poor fellow, he doesn't have anything, at least only clock we heard, let him take it. That is called love. Unconditional love. But for what we exhibit is conditional love. If my wife gives me dosa as I expected, she is very nice. Otherwise, you don't know dosa. How many years you are making it? How many times I told you don't do like this? And if dosa is like that, your mother is not good. Your brought up is very bad. At least what I told you should have followed it. All that is not dealing with God. I am in front of God's office, but insulting the God. That is what the essence of the whole. Actually, similar thing is there in Bhagavad Gita. Similar thing is there in Islam. Similar thing is there in Bible as well. Exactly, love. Yeah. Next. At the end. Forget about all these philosophers, religious leaders, everything. Einstein said, the greatest gift humanity has is the power of intuition, intuitive mind. But what we feed is rational mind. Rational mind is telling my wife, you don't know how to make dosa. What is this? All that logical thinking, reasoning, everything is called rational mind. Intuitive mind is allowing my God in my office to speak and hear and do according to that. So the power of intuition is the greatest gift humanity has, but we give importance to rational mind to know so many things, but we don't develop that intuitive mind. If I can develop my intuitive mind, what should I do? If I have to develop my intuitive mind, if I have to achieve all that 4 objectives, what should I do?
Seeing the other human beings are
Start seeing as the manifestation of divine. Everyone inside God is there. God is operating. God is controlling. How can, even I don't need to do that, but at least let me not hurt, right? So as a, whether I can make a check now, whether you all understood that or not. You want the test? Can you apply or not? Can we do the test? Yeah. Because he says every living things, GC is there. It's a manifestation of God. And inanimate also God. So everything is a manifestation of God. And we can't give pain to anyone, or at least we have to help. So leave you all your purses here. That is also the divine manifestation of divine, right? No, we don't want to do like that. You need not allow that also. Mother is very clear. All your heart, whatever it is belonging to you, you have the right to protect it. But other than that, we should not hurt the other living things. We should not deal with them as an inferiority or superiority complex or with any other negative thing. He is also God. And if we can have that understanding, then what happens is I make the connection to the God at the right time, at the right place. How God can be away from my life. Those who can see divinity in everything, you don't leave God, God doesn't leave you. This is the essence of another scripture. Those who can see the presence of divinity in everything, divinity doesn't leave you. You don't leave the God. You are always with the God. Where is the problem for my life? Blissful life. Because God kept bliss with himself and I am with the God. So I am also enjoying the bliss. So with this I conclude the lecture. Sorry, the time took more long. Sorry.
We are told very bad. Poem by Maris, 1960 and 1992.
True.
To my
Amazing.
understanding, 1992 is like for common architecture. Okay. There is more descriptive than 55. 55 is little bit, you have to understand more.
True.
Get to the meaning of it, but the 92 one is little bit more explicit.
Definitely. Yes. Right. Okay. Any questions? Anything? Okay.
So the 2.1
Exactly. That is why he kept those.